in a world where we've lost sight of that in many ways.
He studied all of these classical myth traditions, and he actually started by studying Native American mythology. He fell in love with it when he was a kid. This was his bliss. And he wound up studying the Aboriginal cultures. He studied Greek mythology. He studied Arthurian legend.
He dissected and really diagrammed all of our stories.
Which is a fair assumption based off of the information that you've been given.
He compared the philosophies, the mythic stories of the whole world.
All myths, all movies, all novels, all romances.
And he find this one story within all the stories that we can relate to no matter where you come from.
He recognized that in spite of all the different stories we seem to be telling, there's really only one. And he called it the hero's journey.
There must have been thousands and thousands of hero stories from every culture, but until Joseph Campbell came along, certainly I never realized how they all kind of fit together and how they were basically the same story.
I was a religion major in college. I was taking my final exam, and I had a moment where I was just gobsmacked. It's just like,
fuck, I don't remember his name.
Holy crap, it's all the same thing. I mean, it is really all the same thing.
The hero's journey
How
is
old
a
is her
pattern.
sister?
You can almost think of it as an algorithm that has three basic parts. Separation, initiation, and return.
How old are you?
Separation. You are in one kind of a reality, in one kind of a place. You are separated from it. Initiation.
She has more friends than me.
You're put into
How do you
another
know this?
place where you are in some manner initiated. Return. You come back.
Oh, I forgot. He knows you apparently better than he knows his own sister.
A simple version of the hero's journey is, someone starting out in their normal protected world and then
and I was on cam at
to
school
adventure.
because I was waiting for my class to
There's
start.
a vision.
Oh, he's basically saying because you're here a lot, that means you don't have a lot of friends.
Trials.
He's assuming.
Various trials and ordeals.
Meeting different obstacles along the way, people that hurt you, people that help you.
Doors will open, as Campbell
friend
would
right
say,
now is
for
going
you
through a
where
little
there are no
anxious
doors
week
for
right now.
others. Dragons will appear
mean,
that
so
are your
am I.
dragons alone.
Monday.
You get to the innermost cave where you
she,
really
just
challenge
wants
the greatest
hermit.
crisis, and you find your
How can it
true
go through
self.
The
that anxious week
achievement,
if
the
it's only
glory.
Monday?
But then that's not the end of it. That is to bring that back to the community.
There's a return to tell the story.
A week is a
That
measurement
is a heroic
of
journey.
time.
Separation, initiation, return.
Yes.
All
So
of
a
the
week is
adventures of
7
the human
days.
story are in there. All the
You can
heroes,
listen
all the
from
villains,
Wednesday
all
to
the
Wednesday.
gods and
No, but,
goddesses,
like,
and
so you're
all
saying
of the knights and all of the
You know what?
fantastic creatures we can conjure up in animation. They're all in there because they're all in here. Because they're all in here. This is
Far
where they
from
come
home?
from.
Like, what do you mean?
If you look
I'm
at some
at
of the
home
greatest
right now.
pieces of literature, the greatest
where my
works of
parents are?
philosophy, they all have what Joseph Campbell called the hero's journey.
And if you look with a piercing eye, you can recognize his
I used to live in
outline in just about
Halifax,
any
which is
movie or
further,
story you
but-
would read.
Star Wars, The Matrix, Harry Potter.
Wizard of Oz. That's a
What?
classic story of a hero's journey. You first see Dorothy in her natural environment, and just like out here in regular life, a person is operating in their natural environment every day and living in their house and that kind of thing. And then something happens to shake that world up. And you go on a journey in which you have to face certain tests
No,
and
I like it here
challenges.
because it's stimulation and it's just more people to talk to. So it's like I can just go here and just make people talk to me and then leave when I want. I mean, if we're
Storytelling is
being
typically
honest.
about people
Yeah, I just like talking to people.
learning something.
And I don't know.
You go to a place which is dark and mysterious.
I like how non-committal it is. So when I hang out with friends, you kind of have
You
to
are
actually do
faced
something.
with yourself.
And if you don't like what you're
There is
doing,
a
it's
relationship
really awkward to be
between
like, hey, I'm gonna peace
facing
out.
fear and this kind of soul gain. You acquire a quality, a hidden strength, a value. moments where somebody is tested.
I can't tell if I have
somebody
a headache
moves
or
to a
if my
place
neck just
where
hurts and
it
the
feels
pain's
like a
shocking
crisis
up to my
point,
head.
and then
take
they
something for
are
it.
restored, redeemed, made better through that trial. And we call them heroes.
Man,
Yeah,
if
we're
you
back.
okay, go ahead, do it.
What?
Nothing, go.
Alright, okay.
Yokado, what's up?
If all of these stories boil down into one map, we can use that map because all human beings are the same, whether they're going through a war like World War II or going through a war inside. It's basically the same kind of process.
In other words, we're not separate from the characters we see in our movies and in our novels. They are us. It's one journey.
Yes. I go eat food and go make girlfriend.
Oh, you have a girlfriend? And you said you wanted to fuck me?
Yeah, so?
Man, if I was your girlfriend, I'd be
The
pissed.
whole idea of hero's journey is a journey of
No one
life.
controls me.
Clear patterns to guide you through.
Free.
You're born, you have a childhood,
Okay,
you
go
have
fuck her.
adolescence,
Why do you want to hear if you're horny?
try to
Fucking
find
go
a
bang
place
your
for you
girlfriend.
to become an adult. And you go through adventures. You struggle with your inner conflicts.
That's better than getting laid.
And finally,
I'm kind of
you
addicted to
become
this
a
place.
hero.
I don't
You
know if
slay the
you-
dragons.
I don't know if you feel the same way,
succeed
'cause,
in
you're kinda on
conquering
here more
all
than
the
me.
demons and,
Yeah, it's just
and
'cause I
you
got
step
hot
over
light.
thresholds and finally you have
I
arrived.
just don't like going to class.
We get old, we die, but within this short span, we have
God,
to
I'll go
have some
fucking get
meaning,
laid.
some reason for this existence.
Well, I wanna
It
have
doesn't
a
have to be
metaphysical
high and
conversation.
mighty and fantastic.
Stupid animal.
You can have a very simple life,
I just want
still
to have a
go through the
conversation
similar
about
pattern.
About something interesting?
something interesting.
What do you want to talk about?
We go out and we watch a great hero's journey movie.
You just like the attention, don't
It's
you?
that impulse within us,
What's
that
that?
seed of
You like the
potential that
attention?
wants to be
Oh yeah,
actualized.
I'm a little slut. I like
It's
it.
being talked to during those movies and being whispered to. It's time for you to do
I hate you a
that.
little
That's
bit.
the story here. That's what it's all
What's
about.
that?
I said I hate you a little
There's
bit.
wonderful narrative iconography for how to live life.
Not all the way.
The idea that try hard you get. The little engine that could. I think I can. I think I
I
can.
don't know
I
what the
think
fuck
I
I'm
can.
doing
I
with my
can.
life right now, dude.
Why was wrong?
I know what I'm gonna
This
do.
idea that we really
I mean,
can do better,
I'm out of
be
college
better,
this semester.
that our greatest selves are still
You're
hidden,
going to college?
and that the future is
Well,
the
yeah, I
prospect
was, and
of
then
coming to
something
terms
got
with that
fucked up
self.
my paperwork, so I'm not going this semester. So
Dorothy
You're
had
in,
to confront her inner barriers. And so
You're
the journey
in,
she went on
what's
was
the army,
not
right?
just a journey to find out how to deal with the Wicked Witch of the West.
And you're
It
going
was
to be
how to
next
deal with her
semester?
own inner
Or
resources,
next
how
to
to
WoW?
claim
Like,
her own
when
inner
you
resources.
were gonna go to college?
And at the end of the movie,
It started
how did she
today.
get back home? Well, she
I
clicked
already
her
signed up
heels
and everything,
together,
but then
so she
Friday,
had it all
they
the
go and say,
time,
"Oh,
the
your
ability to
paperwork
get
messed
back
up."
home,
Well,
but
thank
it
you for
didn't get
giving me, like,
mobilized
2 days
for her
notice before
until she
semester
went through
starts.
all of those
So you
challenges
can just
and
do
was
another
able to
class,
kind
and I
of
was like,
test
no, I
herself.
can't because I need books and all that shit to get here.
It's kind of
really-
the ordinary moving into the extraordinary. It's
Now I have even
going
more
through
free
the
time.
dark to come out to the light.
Shit.
Going from an unsatisfying life to
Well, what interests you?
a satisfying life by pushing through the scariest
Well, I
things
already
you can
read a lot.
imagine.
I already work out a lot.
Find something else that is interesting.
I joined a rock climbing gym, but that's still just another version of working out.
Play an instrument.
Yeah, I could, yeah.
Yeah, do that.
Start a band.
I just want to be rich, man. I want to do something creative. I just
The
want to I
most
need a creative
important
outlet. I need something that's
thing
like...
that the myths
Good, find a
teach
creative
us
outlet. What kind of...
is to go beyond what we perceive as
Something that you can make...
the limits
Make
of
a
our
film this
possibility.
year.
So
Get into
mythology
filmmaking.
needs to be seen for what it is, which is a metaphor for our human existence.
I gotta wait for that.
It's not a history lesson. It's a metaphor for life and for universal experiences.
A lot of people read the myths and they say, well, that refers to something historical, the
Yeah, do it.
creation of the world
Black
or
and white and
something
shit.
like that. But Joe didn't think that.
Like black and white.
He thought that
style?
it's really a narrative about the psyche, what Jung called the self.
The problem is that many of us are metaphorically impaired.
Like back in the day, I mean, obviously now no one gives a shit because back in the day that was impressive, so people got an emotional connection to it.
That they're talking about
now
is actually a
like,
metaphor for a transformation process.
No, that's not true. I watch silent films.
Just kind of like the Holy Grail.
I wanted to make it more modern, like
it's
really
not
successful,
the
like really
thing.
good.
It's not the actual
getting
concrete
emotion
grail.
from people. I want it to be like
intangible
two people falling
thing.
in love, but you don't ever,
Holy Grail
you don't
is
see
a
a word of
metaphor
them.
for that.
You don't hear a word. You just see like.
And so, if you look at a book and it says you will go to heaven,
like you look at their body,
and you don't
language,
realize
you
that
see
they're
them laugh.
talking
It's just
about
weird.
heaven
I have
on
like
earth,
it's in my
heaven
head.
in
It's
our
hard to
bodies,
explain.
heaven right now in the now. You might fall into a trance of thinking that you're literally going to go someplace else if you follow the rules.
Having
your yawns are
been
literally the
brought up
weirdest
in
thing
a
I've ever
mythical
seen. It
culture,
doesn't look like you're yawning when you yawn.
I was very familiar with the different motifs and themes
it's weird.
that were
Yeah, your mouth doesn't
encapsulated
open very
in, say, a mythical being.
I can tell that, like, it seems like Liz is
The
trying
Lord
so
Shiva
hard not
or
to yawn.
Ganesh or a goddess.
Pardon?
It looks like you're trying so
the
hard
name
not
of
to
that
yawn
person,
for some reason.
the whole story
No, I
was
just had a little bit of a
evoked.
headache.
Carl Jung called these
Headache transferred to you?
No, I had one in class.
archetypes are primordial encapsulated
I really want to yawn.
stories or mythologies, and they're in this form of a seed in consciousness.
Stop yawning.
When you plant that seed in consciousness, that archetypal seed, that mythical journey,
Don't talk to me about yawning because that'll make me yawn more.
then that seed starts to sprout,
Who's
and as it
Effie Dawn?
sprouts, the patterning forces create the
I am,
situations,
but-
circumstances, events, and relationships
Kado, I told
for
you
the
I think you're an
unfolding of the
ESTP,
story.
right?
Yeah.
It's better to have a story
I don't
to
think you
look
should ever be
through
a
at life
typer.
than an explanation. The reason for that is the story is richer.
Who's talking?
Is that Nick?
Yeah.
I say select 2 or 3 heroes and
This is coming
heroines,
from
either in
you.
mythology or religion or history.
Huh?
And
Coming
then
from me.
ask
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
mythical
That's why it's
beings
incredible source.
to incarnate through you. And then don't be surprised when you see situations, circumstances,
I think I have a good
coincidences,
PI.
synchronicities,
I left you
relationships,
I left you an apology. in the
suddenly
comments,
show up
Matthew.
that actually are part of the story that you have been seeking to express.
I left you a apology in the comments for being a little bit nuts the other
Once
day.
upon a time in the forest, there was this little tiger cub amongst a flock
What do you mean in the
of sheep.
comments? Like here?
And he ate grass.
Oh,
and
I
he
see.
wandered around with the
I
sheep.
see. You don't gotta apologize. It was in the heat of things. We were all yelling.
And when he
and shit,
tried
so.
to say anything, all that came out was just a little meow, not much of a roar. And one day, through the forest, comes a large male tiger. And he's just about to pounce on the
Let's
sheep,
hear
and
how
he sees
particular
this
you are.
tiger cub. And he says, "What are you doing here?"
Big John.
The tiger cub goes, "Bah."
Ain't a phenom.
Picks the tiger cub up by the
definitely
scruff
don't
of the
sound
neck,
like
and
Tron.
he carries him over to a pond, and he puts his face over it. He says, "Look, see that face? You're not a sheep, you're a tiger." The male tiger says, "Okay, we need to do something."
Yeah, I used to have really
slays a sheep
bad
and he
anxiety.
grabs
That's
a big
why
hunk of raw
also
meat.
blame myself for that. So I used to psych myself out. I wanted like
And he shoves it in the little
couple years in high
tiger's
school. I
mouth.
didn't really talk much. That's probably why I had really shit articulation.
And the little tiger
I was
gagged on
really
it is
scared.
all
I
due
still
on the
get really
truth.
scared when I have to be like a full brief. My job is briefing people, so
But it went down.
if you ever see me give a
And
briefing
he
without
got a little bit of
colors,
energy, and pretty
you can't
soon
talk. I
he
just-
had a bigger tiger roar. And eventually he had
I
a
just
full
have
tiger
bro
roar,
talk.
and he went
I
off
talk bro
with
because
the
I'm
male
around a lot
tiger.
of bros. 99% dudes in the Marine Corps. So
I think the moral here is
most of them are
self-evident.
censors.
If you're a tiger living among sheep, you're a pretty poor specimen of a tiger.
Shit.
And
So
we are
they
all
usually talk about
tigers
sports
living
and shit,
among sheep.
so I adopted
We are
their
all
language.
individuals
I
with
adopt whatever language I'm around.
a self that we don't even begin to understand.